Our following speaker is Mr. Jamal Khassim Mursal. Mr. Mursal achieved an MA in Management at London Metropolitan University and studied there strategic management, managerial work and project management, as well as human resource management. He successfully concluded his BA in Business Enterprise in London Metropolitan University. Mr. Mursal worked at the Bright Star Training and Development Limited as Managing Director and Center Coordinator, and he has also worked with the Organization of Islamic Cooperation during the famine in Somalia as a relief coordinator. Mr. Mursal joined the Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources as the Director of Policy and Promotion Department with the responsibilities of organizational development and institutional development, and developing also policy documents for the ministry. Currently, Mr. Mursal is the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources and is the highest senior chief executive of the ministry. Mr. Mursal is here with a delegation from the federal government of Somalia, and I would ask that you please welcome him here for his presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, the people of Somalia, thank you for joining us here today. I would like to update you the key milestone achieved by the ministry for the last 3 years, and also to announce bid round that will take place in 2017, which the details of it will happen this afternoon at 3:45 p.m. from 241 to 246. Also, there will be technical presentation in this afternoon. So my presentation will be more like speech and also announcement. So the technical presentation will follow in the afternoon. Please join in the afternoon the presentations. I'll discuss about the vision of the petroleum sector, update on the activities carried out by the ministry. In the last few years, my country, Somalia, has made great stride on the road to exploiting Somalia's natural resources with the goal of achieving a sustained peace, stability, and shared prosperity for all Somalis, whilst also protecting the environment. We strive to maintain the principle of inclusiveness, equal opportunity, transparency, and accountability in our work to build sustainable development of the petroleum sector. We made great progress in our activities, in our preparation for oil and gas exploration activities. These include prerequisite legal and regulatory framework with the assistance from the World Bank. We have made substantial advances in developing a solid legal and regulatory framework through appropriate amendment to the petroleum law. We also have developed a new production sharing agreement, including fiscal terms, with the help of African Development Bank through the African Legal Support Facility, and that has been finalized. Petroleum Management and Revenue Sharing Agreement is in process of signing the federal member states. The federal government of Somalia, represented by the Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, established a petroleum regime to register legacy holders whether they are interested to continue or intend to terminate their contracts. With this, Shell and ExxonMobil are determined or intend to resume their obligations with regard to their concessions contracts of 1988. BP has terminated its contract in the south, in the Coriolis Basin, and also the other prior holders, we expect them to respond as soon. The new offshore data reveal is a very interesting prospect, which I hope more information and details of those prospects will be presented this afternoon at 3:45 p.m. So as I said earlier, the amendment of the petroleum law was finalized and is in consultation with the federal member states and other stakeholders. After that, it will be presented to the new coming government for them to ratify and pass as a law. Also, the completion of the petroleum registry for legacy right holders and for new interested oil and service companies. We've talked about it. The discussion and agreement on the management and revenue sharing of the upstream sector in Somalia between the federal member states and the federal government with the assistance of the World Bank is ongoing, and we hope that will be signed soon. The introduction of the downstream bill, that bill is with the first draft of reading was done by the Parliament and is waiting the upcoming Parliament to pass the law. The newly developed BSA, Production Sharing Agreement model of Somalia, and its fiscal regime also was finalized. The legacy data holders, CGG and others, we have signed a contract with CGG in 2014 to manage and procure the data on behalf of the federal government. So the bulk of the legacy data is retained by CGG. The data consists of maps, seismic, magnetic, gravimetric, geological and field reports, and drill and well logs. It's mostly onshore, though there is some onshore. In the last 2 years, we have entered into key agreements with seismic service companies such as Spectrum Geo to acquire modern, high-quality seismic data, which will greatly assist the crucial decision-making process of oil companies interested in conducting exploration activities offshore Somalia. 3 offshore basins in the last frontier of the region of the Indian Ocean. And also this data is managed by Spectrum, which was transferred to the Somali federal government. 3 basins were found with Jubaland Deep Basin, Mogadishu-Barawa Deep Basin, and the Galmudug Deep Basin. So the potential here is attracting many IOCs, but obviously it needs to be tested and proven, which the work is ongoing. To avoid any conflict related to natural resources and ensure proper management of the revenue from the natural resources, it was established the Council for Natural Resource Management, which is chaired by the Prime Minister, and the members are the heads of the federal member states. The SPA, Somali Petroleum Authority, and Somali National Oil Companies are implementing institutions of the government, as is stipulated in the petroleum law of Somalia. SPA is the competent authority that regulates upstream and midstream petroleum operations by ensuring that all activities from exploration, production, and marketing adhere to the requirement of the petroleum law. As for Somali National Oil Company, which is a government-owned company, is under creation now to represent the commercial interests of Somalia. With all of this in place, the ministry is pleased to announce our intention to hold Somalia's first ever offshore oil and gas licensing round, set to open Q2 2017. So with this in our sights, we will shortly be finalizing bid rounds, block delineation, tender documents, and framework in which to execute a fair, transparent competition. And finally, we continue to work and cooperate with relevant civil society organizations, both within Somalia and internationally, to focus on improving transparency, maintaining environmental awareness, ensuring that Somalian people can effectively benefit from the future hydrocarbon resource revenues. Blocks that are open to bid rounds are in offshore Galmudug, Hirshabelle, Southwest Federal Member States of the Federal Republic of Somalia. Shell and ExxonMobil shallow water blocks are under 1988 concession agreement with Somalia are therefore excluded. Somalia oil and gas notice of application blocks are also excluded, since direct production sharing agreement negotiations are continuing between the federal government of Somalia and SOMA, short notes for SOMA oil and gas. The current blocks, as you see the map, which you will, our technical in expertise will give more details, will be available the presentation in the afternoon at 3:45 p.m. Thank you.
Mr. Mursal, thank you very much for taking us through Somalia's planned licensing round, which has been anticipated now for many years, and I think people are looking forward to hearing about the upcoming developments. So just a reminder that you are all invited to attend this exclusive roadshow presentation. It is hosted by the federal government of Somalia, together with the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Jamal Mursal. The presentation will be providing details of Somalia's first offshore oil and gas exploration licensing round, with content to include updates on the legal and regulatory framework, petroleum laws and local capacity, as well as an introduction to the license round planned for 2017 and a hydrocarbon prospectivity overview using new 2D seismic data. The presentation is this afternoon in room 2.41 at 3:45, and it's also jointly hosted by Spectrum.